I would argue that you should try all ways and all methods if it is in your aims to have closer integration with the EU. So I would argue that having closer cooperation with among these three countries is a good thing. But also you should continue your bilateral efforts, because Eastern Partnership is very clear. It provides as much as the Eastern partners are interested and as they want to cooperate in the fields they want to cooperate, of course also following democratic reforms. So my advice would be to take advantage of all different formats: Eastern Partnership as such, trio as such, bilateral relations as such. And I think that, for example, as to the economic cooperation, there is a lot that we can do at the moment, so that, let's say, the economic status of Georgia should be like we have Norway, Switzerland, or Iceland. So aligning different policies, aligning different formats, I think that is also very important. When Estonia was acceding to the EU and we were having the accession negotiations, for a long time we were doing all these reforms for and to the EU. And then we understood that we're not doing it to the EU, we're doing it to our people. So I'd urge these reforms, not because EU demands it or EU wants you to do it. It's just because your people want it, because your people were very clear when they said that they want to live in society which is very much like the EU. They want to be part of the EU. They want to be members of the EU. So continuing these reforms is crucial, not only for EU, but for your own people. I'm a very strong believer in the open doors policy. I'm a very strong believer in that each and every nation should have the right to decide about their future and to decide to which organizations they want to belong. And again, I come from Estonia. So trust me, we've been through that at the beginning of the 90s, when nobody was expecting us in the EU, nobody was expecting us in NATO. But it was a political decision. We were doing our reforms. We were convincing everybody. We were trying to do our best so that we were waiting for the window of opportunity. And once the window was open, we were lucky and happy enough to take the best advantage of that. So my message is, do not give up your dream of becoming EU and NATO members. Be prepared, continue with the reforms. But at the same time, I urge to be realistic. Realistic means that today I do not see consensus in the EU or NATO. And membership is a political consensus. I do not see consensus in the political parties in the European Parliament. I do not see consensus among member states, very different opinions. On the contrary, in the Brussels, I feel the fatigue of enlargement. Some states are still saying that even the enlargement of 10 countries when Estonia acceded to the EU in 2004 was a mistake. We are still having the results of that enlargement. So there are so many different opinions. You should be determined in convincing the skeptical ones that you deserve to decide upon your future and you deserve unilateral political consensus decision. Is it going to be in 2024? I don't want to speculate and predict, but personally, I don't think so. Because I'm just speaking of the reality that we have today. If it happens, I'll be the first one to greet you as the members of the EU, and I'll be enormously happy for you, trust me. But I also want to be realistic and frank about the present situation. And that's why I was saying that I think the Georgian leadership should pursue its ambitions, but also keep expectations realistic, so that people will not be disappointed if they do not get the message on the 1st of January 2024. But people will understand it's a process, and one day the window will be open. I don't know when, but we have to work together to open this window for Georgian people as soon as possible. 2008, when war broke out, I was Estonian ambassador to Russia. I was Estonian ambassador to Russia in 2007, when Russia had cyber attacks on my country. So again, trust me, I'm not naive about Russia. I'm not naive about hybrid challenges, information operations, because I have personally experienced it for years. I served as Estonian ambassador to Russia. And by the way, when Georgia was Russia's enemy #1, and I was Estonian ambassador to Moscow, we were serving Georgian wine in my embassy. Georgian wine was forbidden in Moscow, but we brought it from Tallinn, we brought it from our supermarkets, and we were having it, and we were serving it at the receptions. So I called it my little wine diplomacy in 2008. We are being targets of cyber operations, information operations from the same party, from Russia. And again, being Estonian, we've been under information operations since '91, since the first day we regained independence. So we understand it. And I think that we can cooperate here very closely. And maybe to conclude, I'm really proud that my country has been supportive, so supportive to Georgia. During the war of 2008, our cyber experts were assisting the government. We have development cooperation projects. Georgia is our priority for development cooperation. So I'm really proud that my country is such a good friend to Georgia.